Okay, so I talked about this plenty last year, but apparently we have to keep talking about it. John Hunter Nemechek was a candidate to get a JRM Xfinity ride last year until his incident with Custer. John Hunter Nemechek did nothing wrong. Nothing. Absolutely nothing wrong. Nothing. Okay, so here's the deal. I've always been an advocate for intelligent driving. Not too aggressive, but aggressive enough, you know? When Smith moved Tagliani at the end of the 2015 Mid-Ohio race, I applauded it! Good job, Regan Smith! What Regan Smith did there is exactly what Nemechek was trying to do at Canada. But unfortunately, he just didn't have grip on 7,000-year-old tires because the fucking caution clock allowed it so that they were able to save their gas and make it a one-stop, I think, race. Either way, the point is that because of the caution clock, they didn't have to pit as often, which means that they had way older tires than they ever have at Canada. And yeah, so he's using really old tires, trying to do a slick move that requires experience, and everything just went to shit. However, the difference between that and stuff that happens in the tracks such as Kyle Busch wrecking Dale Jr. This is the first one that came to my mind. Kyle Busch wrecking Dale Jr. at Richmond a long ass fucking time ago. The reason that was not okay is because Dale Earnhardt Jr. did not end out in second place. The reason that Smith moving Tagliani was just fine. The reason that Edwards moving Kyle Busch at Richmond in 2016 was just fine. The reason that all these bump and runs that have happened in the past, I'll even reference one that's freaking ancient. How about Jeff Gordon versus Rusty Wallace at Bristol? When Jeff Gordon used the bump and run. That was okay because Wallace didn't finish in 30th. Custer finished second. John didn't ruin his race. It wasn't even on purpose. Nemechek did nothing wrong. He never did anything wrong. And people put this on the same level as Kenseth wrecking Logano at Martinsville. What? What? No. Sorry. It's not even close. We're on two entirely separate planes of reality right here. If you're equating that. No. No. Nemechek. Let's go to a similar situation in Homestead, Miami, and also the Truck Series. I don't fucking care what year it was, but it was Cale Gale for Kevin Harvick. Basically pressed against Kyle Busch down the front stretch, and that is probably what got him the win. Now, not even going to go into that race or that incident as a whole, but I see it as okay because Kyle Busch finished second. And if being in the Truck Series mattered at all for Kyle Busch, which it doesn't, he would have gained plenty of points. He would have gained plenty of money. He would have had a good day. He wouldn't have a win, but he'd have a good day. The difference between what happens there and what happens between Logano and Kenseth at Kansas, the difference is that one person is finishing second, the other is finishing 14th. Moving someone for one spot is fine, but wrecking someone and ruining their day is not. Which is why what John did is just fine. And let's not even forget, that wasn't even the intention of the move. Okay, if you still think it was intentional, okay, let's see you try to move off of a truck that momentum is pushing you towards, that speed is pushing to you towards, that the fact that they're already pressed up against the wall is meaning that they're pushing back against you, which means you're pushing even further into them. Oh my God! It's almost as if John couldn't have even removed himself from Custer's truck, even if he wanted to. Oh! And they're coming to the finish line of the final lap, and you're telling me that he's supposed to let off the gas and just let Custer win? No! No! That's even worse than pinning him against the wall! It's intentionally giving up a win! Just to appease some people who don't understand how driving race cars work! They were off in the dirt! They were in the dirt! They were racing on concrete all day! If this was Eldora, this would be a different story, but they were in the dirt! They had no traction. They had old tires, so they had even less traction. Basically, they had no traction. Honestly, I feel like they should have just awarded the win to Hemrick since he crossed the actual line first. And they were off track. That's what I think they should have done. But, whatever. I still think that's one of the greatest finishes that I've ever seen live. I remember tweeting out, that was legitimately the greatest thing I've ever seen. And it's not going to be remembered as that. Because some people think that what he did was it was not on purpose. He was just trying to move him just like Chase Elliott did. Chase Elliott at the same track against Herman Caroga. Or was that Ryan Blaney? I don't fucking remember one of them. No, Ryan Blaney was the one that I was actually able to do it cleanly. I think Elliott just wrecked him. And that was Austin that got wrecked, right? Or Ty, one or the other. And yet everyone's like, oh, Chase Elliott's so great. And yet he did something worse. Whoever he wrecked, I think it's Ty, I don't know. But whoever he wrecked, they didn't finish the race. They didn't even finish at the top 10, huh? Custer finished second. He had a great points day. He did nothing wrong. John did nothing wrong. And if that complete and utter disregard for the laws of physics is why John Hunter Nemechek has not gotten the Xfinity ride that he so fucking clearly deserves, that is fucking abominable. That is dastardly. That is complete and utter horse shit. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine if that happened any other time in the history of racing? That when wrecking someone completely unintentionally meant the end of your career, meant the end of your future, means that you're stuck in trucks forever just like Peters. Just like Peters. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's not okay. John Hunter Nemechek did nothing wrong. Thanks for watching.